All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Talk. It's great to have you back and to see such a large crowd. Thank you for being here. To get us started this morning, Tiffany has a presentation she'd like to make.
Good morning. How's everyone? Good. Perfect. So I will be raffling off the basket that was displayed at the RO Experience football tailgate. So I have all. Can you hear me?
Take your mask off.
Take my mask. Okay.
Take your mask off.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning. Yay! We love technology sometimes. Perfect. So we will be raffling off this morning our RO tailgate basket that was in the corner at Leslie's desk. She's our resident services director. She has all of our goodies right here. Brent, if you could pick it up and showcase it for us. She's our runner-up right today. It's a little bit heavy. It has lots of treats in there for your next football tailgate. So we're going to let... Perfect. We have a football, chips.
Pretzels.
Yes, she did us good. Excellent. So here, if you could do the honors, pull us a good one.
What about hockey? They just won the Stanley Cup.
I know.
Okay.
Go Bulls.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I have A511.
A511.
I'll have to locate A511. So congratulations to that person. I'll make sure that they get their basket today. Also at Sandra's desk, at Sandra's booth last week, she had the Tampa Buccaneers sign. Also, she had the lounge chairs. So we'll be raffling off those as well. Brandon, can you pull those out for us? Thank you. We have all types of goodies today.
All right, this is for the chairs.
Yes, for the chair. Okay. P209. Okay, we'll make sure they get it. And last, the Buccaneers sign. Oh, Chef Johnny won that one. So if you see him, make sure to let him know we were allowing employees to sign up as well. So if you see him, he won the Buccaneers sign. I'm sorry, the lounge chairs. Make sure to attend our Halloween RO experience at the end of the month, and we'll keep having the raffle baskets. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, we have another presentation. Ricky, why don't you come on up? So you may recall a couple of weeks ago we showed you a video, and it was for our new chef's table, and we had submitted that into a contest for best new practice, and we were recognized as the first place winner. And as part of that, we got 300 gourmet cupcakes delivered for the entire staff. And Ricky and I were both hoping for cash, but it was turned out to be cupcakes. But as just a more momentous piece of glass to add to our trophy case, this will go right next to the Chili award-winning Chili sign, our first place trophy for best new practice. Congratulations.
Thanks, everyone.
We appreciate your creativity and all that you bring to that department. You do a wonderful job.
Excellent.
Couldn't do it without you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. All right, so I have a slide for you. Lauren, my snippet slide. It's the dark snippet. Yeah. So, as you know, I went to Disneyland, Disney World last weekend, and it was an amazing trip. And one of the things that was nice about it is there was no one there. And so I'm used to going, and the parks hold 335,000, and there were a total of 30,000 people spread amongst the 4 parks. And so literally there was no traffic as you were going in. There were no traffic in the parks. You could pretty much jump on any ride. The parades were a little downsized. They did not have the big, massive parades that went up and down Main Street, and the fireworks had been discontinued. Anything that drew large crowds, they had discontinued. But it was a little eerie to be in Disney and to be able to walk down Main Street and literally not see anybody. Wow. But it was resting and relaxing. I'm very glad to be back, but I wanted to share that interesting photo. All right, we're going to start this morning with COVID. Next slide. Should just double click.
Yeah. Well, go with the next slide first.
All right, then get rid of that Google. X out of that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
No, the existing. Like go up here. Yep. All right. There you go. Now you should be able to pop it open. Okay. I'm going to step back here so that I actually can see these slides. I'm standing right under them. So let's take a look at what's happening here in the state of Florida. As you know, we're sort of changing up our format. The numbers are looking so much improved that we don't think it's necessary to talk about this with residents 3 times a week any longer. And so our plan is to every Tuesday give you a weekly COVID update and talk about what's happening with COVID in the state and here at Regency Oaks. So that's part of what we'll do today, and then we'll address it again on next Tuesday. That also means that our Friday forum that we have been doing weekly, we're now going to do on a monthly basis. It will be the first Friday of each month. It just so happens that our first Friday is this Friday. So I hope to see everyone here for the Friday forum. It will be a live event. You're welcome to attend. It also will be broadcast so that if you don't have the opportunity to come down, you'll be able to watch it later in your apartment. Here's the numbers for Florida testing. These are really, really encouraging. Yesterday in the state of Florida, we tested 1,300 people. 50 of them were positive and 1,346 were negative. That's an infection rate of 3.58%. That's as low as we've seen it. And it is actually, there's another slide we'll look at, but it is getting close to the point where it is going to fall below the infection rate for flu and influenza. That's really encouraging news. You can see that it's pretty consistent over this last 30-day period from 8/1 to 9/1 in terms of the green, the people who have tested negative, and red, the people who have tested positive. You can see that separation beginning to develop. You can see stability in looking at the red. It's about the same height day over day, month over month. Our total numbers, we're at 220,000 tested, and 198,000 of them have been negative. Our testing percentage from day 1 to today is at about 9.99%. It's the first time that we've broken that 10% threshold. So those numbers are just really looking excellent. Next category I'd like to look at, Lauren, is cases by county. So this is Pinellas County specifically, and the thing that I'd like to start at is let's look at the chart up there at the top in the center. It's the age distribution by cases. And if you look over on the right-hand side, you can see those individuals 75 to 84 and 85 plus are not, in fact, the demographic that is getting COVID. They're fairly far down on the graph. The COVID cases are happening for those individuals between the ages of 15 and 64. And the belief is that those are the people who are more active, who are out amongst the rest of the community, that are going to bars and restaurants and exposing themselves to a higher risk. And as you know, Governor DeSantis last Friday night, after the news bureaus have gone to bed, he released the restrictions for Florida. And so mask wearing is no longer required in Florida, and you can now go to bars and restaurants. Our recommendation is that you should continue to wear a mask. We are requiring masks for visitors. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We are encouraging our residents to wear masks, whether you're on campus or off campus. It is still the best practice for preventing the spread of COVID. It's particularly important if you are coughing, sneezing, or showing signs or symptoms of either influenza or of COVID. So although the governor has lifted the mandate requiring mask wearing, it is still our strong recommendation that you continue to do so. The hospitalization, positive residents, this is here in Pinellas County, and you can see that those numbers have improved as well. Lauren, let's go over to health metrics. Now, this is an interesting chart, and the first thing I want you to know is that if you remember seeing these graphs, we've been looking at them once a week for 7 months now, and you'll maybe notice that if you looked at the last time we presented this, the angle of the decline of the graph was much sharper. And so what happened? Well, they changed the index, the markers, because the change was so insignificant that in order to show it better, they changed the markers. So that's a really good sign. And so what that means is when you have 100,000 people and of that 100,000 people, you're getting 20, 30,000 a week who are infected, that's a pretty good number. But when you're getting 10, 20, 30 people out of 100,000 infected, you can't see what that actually looks like unless you change the markers. And so that's what the state of Florida did, is they changed the markers so that we can get a better look at what's really happening with these numbers. The first chart in the beige is emergency room visits with flu-like illness. And you can see it's been running pretty stable at 70. It bumped up to 80 this week. The purple chart is ED visits with COVID-like illness. You can see a steady decline. It was about 240. It's now down to about 130. And if we get down, it looks like at some point with the purple going down and the beige going up, and particularly entering flu season, at some point here, real shortly, we're going to see those two lines cross, and the number of people presenting at hospital with flu-like symptoms is going to exceed the number of people who are showing up thinking they have COVID. Documented new cases it's pretty flat. You can see on about 824, we dropped to 4.25, and today we're sitting over here at 450, 460, something like that. That's the chart in yellow. And then percent positive for laboratory testing. You will recall that one of the goals of the state was to get this number below 5%. That is what's considered the benchmark by Governor DeSantis. The top of the chart only starts at 4%. So we are well below benchmark, and you can see where we're getting a pretty stable line where it's going between roughly 3 and 4%. So all good. So the over the course, yeah, would you? Yeah, thanks. So over the course of the last week, even though I was on vacation, we didn't want to delay the reopening that we were able to start last week, and will continue today with our dining services changes. And so we had reached a point of stability, and you remember that there are the 11 categories that we track, and we finally, after months of trying to get there, got to the numbers that allowed us to take the next step in reopening. And so I just want to go through those steps one last time to make sure you completely understand what's been lifted and what restrictions remain, and then have some discussion if you'd like afterwards. Regency Oaks' approach on this, our philosophy has been, we were really quick to enact restrictions to protect residents and keep you safe and prevent the spread of the disease. Regency Oaks is going to be very slow in removing those restrictions. We're going to be careful, and we're going to be strategic. And so as you think about what this last round of removing restrictions has done for Regency Oaks, we essentially are back to full service across all departments, whether it's transportation, programming, dining, but there are still some restrictions in place. So we are... So... Okay, I don't know. So we still do have some restrictions in place. If for those who are tracking, we are in day 5 of phase 3, and phase 3 is the last and final phase where we completely reopen the community. And so as long as the numbers continue to hold, you're going to see a very quick, rapid phase 3. Phase 2 went on for 154 days, and phase 3 we anticipate being less than 30 days. So, everybody knock on wood and hope that these numbers continue. But here's what we have done since the restrictions were lifted and announced last Tuesday. So the side doors have been opened up. I understand we have one lock failure. When we powered it back up, it failed to reboot, and that's over on the R wing. The replacement has been ordered, but you now have access to the buildings by use of the fob. Our housekeeping has returned to full service, but it's broken up into every other or every week. So the first week they come in and do kitchens and bathrooms, and the second week they do floors, so that every 2 weeks you get a full housekeeping service. So instead of getting a full housekeeping service 4 times a month, you're only going to get it twice a month. But we're moving forward there. We have discontinued the shopping that we were doing for residents, because you now have better options. You can go, if you have a car, you're able to go shopping for yourself. You can have your families shop for you, or you can get on a bus and join us for one of our shopping runs. The restriction that is still in place is that we're only allowing 6 passengers per van. and we will go as often as we need to go to accommodate the demand. And so that's a big improvement. Visitations, thank goodness we have finally opened up the campus to your families, your friends, and outside visitors. It is by appointment only, and the reason we're doing that is there are two important restrictions. You can have two visitors. So you could have a daughter and a granddaughter, but you couldn't have a daughter and 3 granddaughters. So it's only 2 people at any one time, and it's restricted to 10 visitors in either building at any one time. So the north could have 10 people visiting it at one time, and the south could have 10 people visiting at one time. So we're restricting the numbers, controlling the flow, making sure we're careful, strategic, and slow in our process as we start to reopen the community to visitors and families. All visitors and families must be screened at the front door. They must be screened, they must submit to a temperature check, they must complete the required paperwork. Please do not bring a family member in a side door. And I get it, it's the adult kids are saying this is a pain in the ass. I don't want to do it. This is ridiculous. and I get it. I hear that. I'm in the business. I go and visit Pat's mom, who's at Westchester, and it's the same situation. I have to, every time I go in a controlled entrance. I have to submit to a screening. I say, I work in healthcare. I get COVID tested every single week. I'm okay. No, you got to follow the process. So I'm just asking everybody to support us on this and try to make sure that we're really paying attention. This is our highest risk factor in the community. It's family members who are out and about, and we saw the demographics. They're the ones who are the high risk. If you're in that age group, you're at a higher risk. And if we get COVID in our building, it's going to be from a family member who's coming in to visit and isn't following the procedures. So please, please, please work with us on this. Make sure your families are coming in the front door, submitting to a temperature check, going through the screening process, and are doing it every single time they come to visit. One last restrictions on our families. They currently are allowed only in your apartment. They are not allowed in any of the common areas other than access to and from your apartment, including the elevators. So they're not allowed in dining. They're not allowed to participate in activities or events. That is coming, but for right now, we're being slow and cautious. Gatherings, we moved our outdoor gatherings to 100, our indoor gatherings to 75. So we just bumped that up a little bit. And Ricky, why don't you come on back up here, and we're going to talk a little bit about dining. I'm going to go through it. Ricky's going to support me in case I say something that is wrong. But our goal, when we think about dining services, our goal is to get back to normal operations. That's what we're trying to do. It is not a straight line. It is a crooked line. And so as you think about what Ricky has to manage, he has limited resources in terms of both dollars and labor. He manages the largest department on our campus. And so when he's thinking about how he deploys the man hours that he has, he can't do it all. And so you have to give a little, slide this over here, change this up a little bit, and do it in a way that benefits the most residents as we attempt to get back to normal operations. So what that looks like for now is we have discontinued all the free deliveries. Free deliveries are still available. If you are sick and you have what we've always had in the past, it's up to 3 per month, 12 per year. So if you have flu, we don't want you in the dining rooms. You shouldn't be out and about. So we will bring you your meals delivery at no charge, up to 3 times a month, 12 times a year at no charge. Pickups are available at no charge, and the most significant change is the menu is expanded. It's no longer restricted. You'll recall that our deliveries in the past, you had a couple of entrees to choose from. They have now been opened up, and the menu selection is...
The pickup is only for the right side of them, only the 2 entrees. That's what I'm here for.
Oh, okay. That's what he's here for. Okay.
So if you're picking up, the left side of the menu is not available.
Tavern is now open for both breakfast and dinner. It is sit-down dining only in the tavern, and pickups are not available out of the tavern at this time. It is a limited menu. We do not have the full menu available yet in the tavern. The full menu
We have the full menu available.
You do have them. Okay.
Breakfast is full, and so is dinner.
Okay. So seating capacity is 20, and that consists of 4 tables inside and 2 tables outside in the al fresco dining. And this is really important. It's by reservation, and it's open from 3 to 6.
7.
3 to 7. At least I was smart enough to bring this guy. 3 to 7, and you're limited to 1 hour seatings?
Yes.
You're
There
limited.
shouldn't be a problem with the small amount of residents that we have coming through.
Yeah. So we just want to make sure that we're turning those tables and that everybody who wants to eat in the tavern has the opportunity to do so. The bar has reopened, and with us now serving food and alcohol in the tavern, our license is a little different than what it is up in our restaurants. If you go to the dining room, you can bring your own bottle. Now that we're back to normal operations in the tavern, you are not able to bring your own bottle to any of the tavern activities, including indoor dining, the deck, al fresco dining, or the grill on the breezeway. And so we're not able to serve you if you bring alcohol, wine, or beer from an outside source. So that change is effective with the tavern reopening. And then just to repeat, currently we're not serving guests in any of our dining facilities across the campus. I'll mention one more thing, and then I think we'll break and open it up for questions. So next steps, this week we will be asking for 3 additional restrictions to be removed, and we're going to be asking that we be allowed to open up maintenance so that they can go and start doing work orders in your apartment. We're going to ask that the Regency room and the grill on the breezeway be released for normal operations with restrictions to be effective at the end of the month. And we're going to ask for an adjustment to our quarantines, and we've broken it down into multiple quarantines. There is now one for hospital, for new move-ins, for potential exposures, one for illness, one for vacation if you drive, one for vacations if you fly, and one for vacations if you go international. And essentially what we're asking for is that the quarantine for driving and non-exposure related issues be dropped, and that the further restrictions be significantly curtailed. So those are the 3 things we're going for this week, and we should have an announcement as to whether or not they're approved by Friday of this week. All right, so we're going to take just a minute and give you a chance to ask any questions about any of the restrictions or the COVID changes before we move.
Sanitation, if you want to call it. Can you enlighten us about the cleaning of the AC filters? That would be part of, cleanliness. How often do they do that?
So I think you're talking about changing of AC filters, is that correct?
Cleaning, changing,
Yeah, okay. So our AC filters are changed every 6 months. That's the manufacturer's recommendation. There are a lot of different opinions out there. There are some people who say you change them every 30 days, someone who says once a quarter. Our manufacturer's recommendation is every 6 months, and that's what we do. We offer 2 filters that are available for your use, and they are a MERV 7 and a MERV 11. They are available at no charge. One has a higher density that reduces airflow. One gives you better airflow, but it does not pick up as many contaminants. We let you make that choice. There's no change in cost. We will put in whichever one you prefer.
Well, CDC just made a recommendation that you do it maybe twice, maybe in 2 months. Why 6 months? I mean, they really are bad. I'll tell you, they're black when they come out. When you take a look at them, my husband has a respiratory problem. I mean, if you wait 6 months.
Yeah. So our manufacturer's recommendation is every 6 months. We're very comfortable with that. You need to remember that we used a chilled air system, which is a little different than what you have in your home, where you had a residential unit with an air handler and a compressor. All of our bacteria fighting occurs in the chillers, not in your apartment. And so your air is not exposed to anyone else's air. It's your water that is shared. And so it's just a little different than what you might have in a residential home, but we're very comfortable with every 6 months. We have residents who believe that they need to change it every single month. We do that. There is an additional charge. And so if you want it changed more frequently, we absolutely will be happy to do that. But it's at an additional charge.
Bill, I think Bill Clark is next.
Bill Clark.
Yeah, Brad, on the seat, my understanding was that seating in the tavern was going to be 16 at 4 tables. And you said that it was going to be 20 people spread over the outside and inside. How is that going to be arranged?
Yeah, so that is correct. And you're limited to
3 per table.
Is it same as in the dining room?
Yeah, it's the same thing. There's
Okay, so
3 addresses, so if you're with you could have a couple and then 2 other people at the table.
So we have,
3 addresses.
we have a reservation for the tavern tonight for 4 people.
Okay.
Three destinations, 3 partners. But we don't know whether we're outside or inside or how that's going to work.
Well, when you come in, they'll seat you depending on, the dynamics of it. So maybe we'll have you outside if you feel more comfortable with that too. But I'm glad you're coming because we only have like 25 people all day long. So very small, but to start off slow, that might help us out too.
Okay, Lou.
We have a little clarification on making reservations for the tavern. Some people have reservations for the entire week, and I've been told you have to call 2 days in advance. What's the story?
It's the 3 days. It was the 3 days. That's what we put down on the flyer.
I
It must be because I'm not taking the reservations personally, obviously, but it must be because we don't have. It must be because we don't have a lot of people signing up. Like I said today, we have only 25 people. So
I was told yesterday only 2 days in advance.
Okay, well I'll look more into it. We're still trying to figure this all out too.
And where do we call to make the reservation?
Call the front desk in the north.
Thank you.
I mean, not the front desk. I'm sorry, 313, the hostess stand.
Well, we got one.
Ricky, in light of what you said, that 3 addresses to a table, will that be applying in the dining room now?
Yes, always, that's always
So
happened.
we can have 4 people sitting at the table?
If you have 3 addresses. So let's say your husband or whatever, and then 2 other folks. And that
Oh,
would
that's
work out.
very good.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, give it to, I understand there's going to be sign up for the anniversary dinner today.
North noon
Yeah,
in
and
the
I
south
think.
lobby, and then 1 o'clock for the south residents. And if you don't feel comfortable going to sign up, it's just like how we've always done in the past, that you can just call either the north or the south hostess desk and make your reservation.
I know a lot of the new residents do not understand what they're supposed to do.
But we're trying to get out to them and try to let them know
Okay.
that. Thank you.
The sign-ups in the south building?
Yes.
It's in the town hall. It's in the town.
Town hall, I'm sorry, town hall.
I think Joe is next.
Noon for the north, 1 for the south.
Okay. I have a timeshare at Disney, and I was very happy to see that you were there, and everything was wonderful. If I go to Disney next week and I come back, will I be quarantined?
So as I mentioned, one of the things we're moving for this week, and I'll give you what we're asking for that specific example, is if you were to go travel to Disney by car and return, we're asking that there would not be a quarantine. If you were to fly to Pensacola and spend the night and fly back, we're going to ask that there would be a quarantine, but instead of 14 days, it's going to be 5. And so we're seeking those permissions based upon our approval. That should go into effect next Monday. The other thing that is available for every resident and every staff member, like people might ask, well, how'd you go to Disney and be able to come back? And the answer is, it's the same for me as it is for you. I get tested for COVID every week, and if you want to do that when you get back from a trip, all you have to do is go and get tested, get a negative test result, and there is no quarantine. So that's true for almost all instances, whether it's a hospitalization, a new move-in, a vacation, in-state or out-of-state. That trumps everything. If you are non-symptomatic, you go and get a test, you come back with negative test results, that negates the quarantine.
Can we get tested here?
So here's so yes and no. So if you are symptomatic, I can test you. If you are non-symptomatic, I have to send you out to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy can test you. You can go up to Baycare. There are lots of places that are doing testing now. But right now, the Department of Health is limiting my ability to test residents or staff, residents to those who are symptomatic, and staff to anyone who has direct contact with nursing home or assisted living residents.
Could you tell us what your test was?
Oh, it's negative.
No. I assume that, but what's involved?
Oh, it's awful. How many have done it? So they take a swab that long, and they go up the nose into the bottom of the brain pan and tickle you. And it's not painful, but it's your eyes twitch and it's like it's not pleasant.
Well, okay, that sounds very funny. Just expanding on the idea, when marketing brings in people, do they get this rods shoved up their nose?
No. So
what do they get that differentiates them from my kid?
So they get the same thing that we're now doing for all of your families. All of our marketing tours are by appointment only. They submit to a screening, they do the questionnaire, and they complete the temperature check.
What is, I'm trying to get the distinction between them and my son.
There's not. They're the exact same.
And why isn't my son allowed to come in?
Your son is allowed to come in under the exact same restrictions.
My son is not allowed to eat in the dining room, but they are.
Yeah, and that's because your son is eating with you and others, as opposed to my marketing table, which I separate and I only expose marketing guests to other marketing guests. We're really careful about that.
Any word on the salad bar?
No word on the salad bar yet. I'm committed to see the salad bar return. I think that's a Regency Oaks tradition, but currently we have not even attempted to go after that change.
No restaurant.
Yeah.
Since we're opening back up again under the old system, this is the 21-day and the 30-31 day. So we need to start keeping track of that today. October 1st. And do the new residents know about that?
No.
And for me, I want to know about the anniversary dinner. Is that a freebie? That's not an upcharge of $10, I don't believe.
Right.
So that just counts as a $7.50 meal.
That's correct.
And if you were on, whatever you were on pre-COVID, that's what you're still on. Unless you go somewhere and change it, and is it too late to change it?
So we're not accepting changes right now. We're starting to get back to where we were, and so effective October 1st, we're going back to the bistro meal plan, where it's either 21 days or a meal of the day. And so it's exactly what we were doing back in January with no other changes, with the exception of we're not letting you jump back and forth between the programs until we get everything stabilized with our services. And so no changes, going back to the way it used to be. Everyone except for the new residents are very familiar with that, and so we're anticipating this should be pretty quick and simple. So let me do this, if you don't mind. I got 3 or 4 more things that I really want to share, and I don't want to start losing people. So let me do this. Let me make the 3 or 4 other announcements that I want to share, and then I'll stay for questions for as long as anyone has questions. Fair enough? Yes. Okay. Mailboxes, there still seems to be some confusion about putting political advertisement, political statements in our in-house mailbox, and so I just want to go back and clarify that. We are not allowing any political advertisement or statements to be put in the in-house mailbox. That's not appropriate. I don't care if it's Republican literature or Democratic literature. There is no place for that in those in-house mailboxes. That is an exchange of information between residents or from management to residents, and this is going to be a very politically charged campaign, and it may be appropriate for you but offensive to your neighbor, and so we've just made the decision that all of it is inappropriate regardless of your political affiliation. Bed tax, I just wanted to make sure you were aware that we had a significant win. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Studies announced Monday that the agency is withdrawing an intended overhaul of the Medicaid supplemental payment rule. And essentially what this is referred to in common, everyday, understandable language is the bed tax. And so this has been defeated, and under current law, skilled nursing centers that were associated with a CCRC had an exemption, and you did not have to pay tax on your rental like you would on a hotel. And so the average CCRC in Florida would have faced an additional tax increase of between $400,000 and $1 million, and that cost would have been passed on in an assessment directly to residents. So this was a significant win. FLYCRA and Leading Age really need to be commended. I want to encourage everybody to be an active participant and member of FLYCRA. New residents, we are paying, Regency Oaks are paying your dues for the first year because we believe in FLYCRA and their mission. And they did an outstanding job of raising public awareness, writing letters, generating interest, and really working with the Leading Age, one of our for-profit organizations, to champion this cause, and they were successful. For that's a huge win for all of us. Yay! Yay! Flu shots, real quickly. Flu shot clinics, Wednesday and Thursday. It's in the computer lounge. It's 9 to noon. We're getting a good first start. I already have 18 residents in the north and 17 residents in the south who have checked in and told us that they've gotten their flu shots. So no matter where you get your flu shot, here or somewhere else, your doctor's office or a pharmacy, once you get your flu shot, please call the front desk and let them know that you got it so that we can keep track. You've heard me say this before, but I am convinced that our efforts last year in getting everybody a flu shot helped us get herd inoculation. We didn't have a flu outbreak. No one was sick when COVID hit. And because we were all so healthy, I think that's one of the reasons that we were successful in getting through COVID. So flu shots are happening this week. And then one last reminder, Christine asked me to remind all the ladies that there is an estate sale Thursday in Nancy 309, N309 from 9 to 12:30, and she says to bring your checkbook. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll go back to any questions that are still outstanding. I hope to have more information to share with you on Friday at the forum. You obviously are aware that the on-site survey team was out here taking measurements. They've tied a bunch of white ribbons and around trees and driven some posts into the ground, and they got one sitting over there in the marketing area. I have no idea what that is. I don't know what the white ribbons mean, but here's what I do know.
Hey, Brent, they're doing soil samples right now.
They're doing soil samples. Good. So here's what I do know. So it's underway. We are still in the conceptual stage, trying to develop a plan. They have started a design team meeting. The first design team meeting will be this Thursday. We will have the architect in attendance, the engineers, the project manager, who is a guy by the name of Rick Herrick, Ted Macbeth, who is the senior VP of development, Alan Lang from Health Peak, and so there is now a weekly design meeting, and so very quickly we are going to start to be able to produce at least a conceptual rendering of what people have in mind. And as soon as I know anything on the town hall, I will share it with you. We will get it into the Oaks, and we will get presentations out to the residents as soon as we know anything substantial.
Grant, on the same note, before that was even discussed, you were talking about trying to build assisted living and memory care. That was supposed to be on the priority from all the talk that was going on. How come now it's switched?
Well, it never switched. They broke it up into 2 projects, and they decided to do the town hall wellness expansion in 20 and the assisted living memory care expansion in 21. So as of right now,
That's more important than, yeah, come on.
well, there's, tomato. I wanted them both done. And so it was, I can tell you that the residents of the independent living have been living with this town hall, undersized town hall for many, many years, and this certainly was a priority. I think the deciding factor is they knew that the town hall could get done this year. They knew that the memory care and assisted living could not get done this year.
Why not?
Well, because it's a massive project, and so the question is, do you do nothing in 20, or do you take that town hall and try to do it in 20? Because no matter what we would have done, we wouldn't have been able to do assisted living until 21. So I think their strategy was sound.
Question over here.
Miss Robin.
I'd like to walk down memory lane just a little bit for the residents who weren't here for a previous anniversary dinner. Could somebody maybe explain to the community exactly what that is, and why it's a big deal, and so forth?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that is on our agenda for the forum this week. So Tiffany and Ricky will have a larger presentation about the history and what it looks like and the menu. So we'll share more details at the Friday forum.
As a newbie, I moved in on February 15th. Oh, sorry. As a newbie, I moved in on February 15th, and there's a lot of stuff that's kind of going like that. But particularly the food service. Is there something in writing or that can explain what we're supposed to be doing with these plans? Is it in our manual?
Do you have that? You have that summary sheet?
After the meeting's over, I'll get all the information and we'll personally reach out to her.
Okay.
Yeah, there are a couple of great handouts that have been published in the Oaks that we can share. And Margaret where's Margaret? Margaret's, I know she's here. Oh, okay. Margaret has done some great pieces that try to simplify and make this easy to understand. And so there is some information we can get and share with you.
Okay, thank you. Where do you find an Oaks to read?
Johanna, did she
There's
leave?
a copy
Oh,
in the mailroom.
Library, Julie.
The Oaks is designed,
They're never there.
the Oaks is designed to be online. If you can't get it online, we print out some copies. There's always one sent up to the 2 libraries. The desks, the front desk in the south has it right on the front desk. Now, if you can't find it in the north, go to Tuck. Tuck is handling a copy so nobody takes it away, and you get to read it right there in the lobby, so that you can read it at that time.
How do you access it online?
How do you get it online? You have an email address?
Yes.
And you're Pamela Mitchell? We will send it to you. Everyone who has an email address that is published, we mail it out to you. It should come to you, but I'll make sure that you get it. I'll make sure you get it.
Okay, thank you.
all right.
Grant, I have 3 questions. My apartment has been painted already, but when it rains, there's bubbles that are created by the rain that collects on the windowsills. So I don't want those people that are painting to get away without that being corrected.
So the on your windowsill, the rain puddles.
The rain causes the paint to bubble up.
Okay.
so it's not a solid paint job.
Sure. What apartment?
A308.
A308. Thank you. We'll have a look at that before the crane gets out of here.
Yes. And then I have some questions in regards to dining. How much longer will we have the menu, and will we receive the menu to indicate where we're going to eat and what we're going to eat?
Are you talking about for anniversary?
The big, the regular weekly.
Oh, in the next couple of days.
Okay. And if we've signed up for something to eat in the dining room and we don't, we want to go out or whatever, we don't need to let anybody know. That's
Fine.
okay. Thank you.
Got to remember what I was going to ask. The expansion of the town hall, does that include the expansion of the office space? Okay, so when you say town hall, you just don't mean the theater or something like that. You mean, the idea is to move all the stuff that's in the end wing over here,
Well,
basically.
yeah, and so it's called the Town Hall and Wellness Center. That's
know that.
Yeah, that's what they've named it. And so the concept is, and I've not seen the drawings, but the concept is to take the fitness center and relocate it, as well as a permanent gym, so that we don't have to use the South Grand Lobby for the exercise class, and create floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking that beautiful green space, and anchor that wellness center with some clinical, some IHS, home health, the wellness center, and then a small portion of it will be those office areas related to our medical component and HR. So that's the concept, but there is not a working drawing at this point.
What about the bus? Do we still have a new bus coming?
So new bus is, we got an update on that while I was gone. The new bus is finished on October 15th. And it's the delivery will be within the 10 days into the month. So end of October, we should have that new bus in our parking lot. Yay! All right. Well, that's everything for today. Thank you so much for staying with us, and I hope you got some useful information. We'll see you at Friday Forum.